Breaking news, James Harden arrested. We'll talk about that, plus the Knicks, Spurs, Game 5. Guess who the NBA called in, and the latest on the Giannis situation, what the Miami Heat are actually waiting for Giannis to do right now. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Donnie Freeman. Donnie, how you doing? I'm guessing better than James Harden right now.
Yeah, so you said Harden was arrested. Was he arrested for stealing all that money that he's been stealing over the years? With those NBA playoff performances?
Oh, no.
Is that what he was? I mean, we had the De'Aaron Fox one yesterday. It was quite the foreshadow because all of a sudden another all-star guard gets arrested.
And in James Harden's case, he was charged with an unlawful carrying of weapons, according to TMZ. No, not stealing money from an NBA team with poor performances.
Multiple NBA teams, by the way.
Multiple NBA teams. I love the picture they picked of him.
Why'd they have to do the wide eyes? They did him dirty right there.
James Harden was arrested early Saturday morning, charged with an unlawful carrying of weapons. The arrest went down in Texas. He was caught with a handgun in his vehicle, allegedly in plain sight and not being carried in a holster. He was charged with a misdemeanor. Now, there's a couple things. First of all, Donnie, I thought when you go to Texas, they give you a handgun. Like, isn't that a requirement if you're in Texas?
And a holster.
And a holster.
That's what it is. They gave it to him. He wasn't using. Yeah,
he didn't use the state-issued holster that you get when you cross the border into Texas. They give you a gun. That's the way it works.
State-issued is crazy.
And the second thing, why did he leave it out in plain? You've got your beard for a reason there, man. Conceal it in the beard. Come on.
How much food has he lost in the beard over the years? I wonder.
Oh, lots. How many?
Yeah, sometimes I lose food in the beard.
Is that a legit problem?
It's a legit thing. Every so often, there's a like crumb that's in there. But you gotta have a certain texture, right? They've got to be thick and all that. So.
You're just saving it for later. That's all. James Harden was released on bond, has a court date scheduled for June 22nd. Bond terms ban him from possessing any firearms, ammunition, other weapons, and no date-controlled substance, marijuana, unless prescribed by a doctor. But there's a lot going on here. All right. So, first of all, it's a misdemeanor. I don't think this is going to be like James Harden doesn't get a new contract or anything like that.
He'll be fine.
I don't think we even see like a suspension or anything. But Harden, this is also not great timing, right? James Harden is going to opt out of his contract with the Cavs. $42 million player option there on the table for him. He is reportedly going to opt out of that and sign a new deal, more years, less money per year, give the Cavs a little bit of flexibility below the second apron. If they want to get below the first apron, they're going to have other things they'll have to do. So this is not a good thing. I don't think this is going to change the Cavs' plans. I don't think this is going to suddenly make them not want to sign him or anything like that. Obviously, James Harden needs to not do things like this and have a weapon out visible. Again, we don't know the details of what he got, like why
he got pulled over in the first place.
Right. Like, what was going on here? I mean, we're assuming he was pulled over. Was the car parked somewhere and a police officer was walking by and saw a gun sitting out on a seat? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know the circumstances of how it all happened. But obviously, you shouldn't put yourself in a situation like that, carrying a handgun around and that type of thing. But I don't think this is going to negatively impact James Harden on his next contract, his status in the NBA, or any of that. This is going to be kind of a, hey, don't do stuff like this again, and we move on.
Yeah, it won't happen again, I'd imagine. This is, we don't know the circumstance, but I wouldn't bet for that to happen again. But you said it won't impact the Cavs' decisions. Not that it should, but is this an excuse for them to kind of move on? Because I don't think they should be extending him at a high number anyway. So
you think they should just, he doesn't pick up the player option and they say, well, actually, now that you're a free agent.
Well, he's not going to decline it if he knows that's the plan. So
that's what I'm saying.
You got to be like, hey, James, here's this. Just decline first, and once that's all done, we'll have you sign right here. Oh wait, actually, sorry.
It's a trust fall exercise, and the Cavs are totally moving out of the way.
That's that's brutal. I think, in all seriousness, I think he'll be good for them, obviously, to get them through the regular season and all that. Like, there is obviously merit to having him. He's still a really good player, particularly in the regular season. Again, I just don't know that they should be in the Harden business long term, but we've talked about that before.
I think there are some questions about the Donovan Mitchell, James Harden backcourt. I've said it before. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell as a defensive backcourt are what people think Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves are. It's a horrendous defensive backcourt, and then you run into issues with that. I do think you could find a better pairing. I still liked the Darius Garland trade for the Cavs. I mean, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Obviously, it didn't go well for them there. I think they're going to make some changes this summer, but I don't think one of them is going to be James Harden. I think they'll wind up sticking with him for the time being, unless they get to a point where they need to do something more drastic. I don't think this will ultimately be the cause for the Cavs to move on from him. I don't think the Harden and Mitchell backcourt will be super long-lived here, because I think they will run into certain issues with the way the roster is constructed. I think they're going to have to change up some stuff here, but for now, I don't think James Harden getting arrested. Obviously, it's not a good thing. Definitely not a good thing. But I just don't think it's going to make a huge impact on his NBA career.
Yeah, I don't think it does anything for that. So I was just saying, maybe it's an excuse.
Maybe the Cavs look at it and say, you know what? This is our chance.
God damn it, James. We're sick of you getting pulled over. It's only happened one time. You know what? One time is too many.
Did you see people in our replies were responding to me saying, "Damn it, Donnie"?
I didn't.
Apparently, they liked the alliteration and thought when you were messing with me when I was trying to do the ad read on our last show.
Oh, okay.
And I said, "Damn it, Donnie." Somebody said that should be a bit somehow.
We should incorporate that.
We'll figure out some way. As I say that, let's give a shout out to our sponsor. That is Prize Picks. You guys can check them out.
My time to leave. See ya.
Your time to leave. Here, I will make sure. There we go. I hit the right button, and I kept you on screen for this. But we do have Game 5 tonight. We'll talk about some shady stuff going down. What's going on in Texas? Shady stuff going down in San Antonio right now for Game 5. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But Victor Wembanyama, 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. Yeah, I think he gets that. I'm going to go more there, and then more on Karl Anthony Towns. I think he stays out of foul trouble this time. 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think he gets that. That code is HMA. Play $5, get $50 instantly in your lineups. Donnie, do we get a Game 6, or is Game 5 going to be it?
I think Game 5 is it, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had a Game 6. But I do think Game 5 is it.
Yeah, I think the Knicks may just have that killer instinct.
Yeah, I think they're going to smell blood in the water and try to wrap things up here. And if you're the Knicks, you want to do that anyway. You don't want to, because if you lose this, while it would be nice to win it in New York, you also run the risk of potentially playing a Game 7 if they wind up winning, because San Antonio has been really close through these games. They've just lost them in the last moments, right? Who's to say they don't rip off 2 more wins? And then all of a sudden you're in Game 7, right?
Yeah,
the pressure is on you for Game 6, so I think Game 5 is it. And they put D Fox in here, 25 PRA.
Are you rolling with De'Aaron Fox again?
I'm gonna say he's gonna get it today. I think he goes off today. All the noise. He's gonna look to score first today.
He's missed in 3 of his last 5, but we will roll the dice here with it. All right,
he's doing it. I feel better about Dylan Harper for the record, but I'll take it.
Where's my Steph Castle 11.5? They took it away from me.
They took it away, man. You were taking it way too much.
There were too many people who watch us, I think, who were using that one, and it was hitting every single time.
Yeah, he's right.
All
there.
right, everybody. What is that code? Is HMA. Play $5, get $50 instantly over on Prize Picks. We do appreciate them being the sponsor for our channel. All right. Shady shit going down in Texas. Not just James Harden. Check this out. The extender is here. Scott Foster, the crew chief for tonight's Game 5. Do you want to recant? Do you want to take back your statement that the series is going to end tonight?
Well, you notice I was fence sitting. I said I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Game 6. See, I'm a master fence sitter. And so now that I have this information that the extender will be there, I expect Cat to foul out in the first quarter. And they're going to go up big again. And this time Holden will be back in the Game 6, man.
if a referee has a nickname, that it's never a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The fact this guy has that nickname is crazy. Like
Right.
It's crazy enough that we know these guys' names, like I always say. But the fact he's got a nickname and a highlight reel,
And a highlight reel.
Like we should have showed the highlight reel.
When you go into because everybody expects, like, what would be the drama added in, or the expected narrative coming in would be, well, the NBA, when they need a series extended, they call Scott Foster, right? And this is exactly what they did. Like, you would think if you're the NBA, you would shift the schedule around or something so you're not in this position. I'm sure they created ahead of time, but still, it's funny that here we are, Spurs with their backs against the wall, do or die game in San Antonio, and suddenly Scott Foster is showing up.
Have you seen the ratings, by the way?
Really good.
Like, good. Super good. Best since like the Jordan era. So like, if you want to extend this, I'm not surprised and I don't blame you.
Yeah, the NBA's like, do you know how much more money we're going to make if this goes to a game 6 or a game 7?
Yeah, I don't. And then also, speaking of money, though, ticket prices are insane. If they go back to New York for one more game, those ticket prices will be $15,000 to get in the door.
I wonder if New York is safer if they win it on the road.
Yes, I do think so.
By the way, speaking of tickets, check this out. The Spurs are trying to keep Knicks fans out of the arena. Sales to this is what happens if you are not within a 150-mile radius of the Frost Bank Center in San Antonio. This is what happens. Sales to this event are restricted to customers residing within a 150-mile radius. Residency will be based on credit card billing address. Orders by residents outside of a 150-mile radius of Frost Bank Center will be canceled without notice and refunds given. Is this fair play by the Spurs, or is this weak?
When did this really start? I'm sure this has been going on for a long time, maybe across multiple sports, but we're just now really starting to see this really be a thing over the last few years in the NBA, where it's like teams are trying to control who's in their arenas and things like that. And I get it. You don't want to play a road game at home, but at the same time, it's just it comes off as weak to me, and it's not a Spurs exclusive thing. You know, this is something that, like, I mean, the freaking Clippers built a whole section for Clipper fans.
You're literally not allowed to wear gear from any other team.
Yeah, like it's been kind of interesting to see this new trend, at least new to me, at least. But the problem with this is that people are going to buy these tickets in San Antonio and say, "Hey, how much do you want to pay for these?"
Right.
The Spurs fans are going to get in anyway.
Knicks fans are going to get in because they're going to buy them on the secondhand market from Spurs fans. Yeah. They're going to buy and they'll pay look. If Knicks fans will pay the prices to get in New York, they'll pay the prices to get in San Antonio.
Exactly. Like, they're going to get in anyway. But sure, I mean, I don't mind in the sense that you don't want to play a road game at home. What was it for what game? What was that? Game 3? It's like game 2. Whatever the last game they played there. Game 2, right?
Game 2, yeah.
Game 2. I think it was like 40% of the audience was Knicks fans.
Oh, it sounded like it. It sounded like there were so many cheers every time the Knicks did something good.
Like, they reported it was like 37 to 40% of the audience was literally Knicks fans that came over to watch there. So
it was like the Chargers playing a home game in LA.
Speaking of LA, it's like if the Lakers roll into your arena.
Sure. Oh, like Atlanta. Atlanta is always a really heavy Lakers. Like, you go into a Lakers game in Atlanta is always like really heavy Lakers.
All Laker fans.
Laker crowd.
So I get that.
I mean, like we see it in like European soccer and stuff where they actually have to do separate sections of the arena.
I don't follow any of that. So I'm sure it happens across sports. I just don't follow mostly anything.
Sure. I don't know. Like, for me, so much of this is on Spurs fans. Don't sell your tickets.
Exactly.
If you're a diehard Spurs fan, you've got season tickets or whatever, go to the game. I think too many people are trying to flip them on the secondary market, but Knicks fans are going to get in there. I get not wanting to have an away game at home and the way that is. Yeah. But to me, like, it's on your fans. It's not, I don't think it should be legislated by. Now, if they were getting brawls in the stands, the fights and stuff that we saw in soccer, I get having to separate fan bases and everything, and that's more the norm there. But otherwise, this should be on Spurs fans to man up and don't sell your tickets because it's Knicks fans buying them. So go to the damn game yourself and support your team.
I'd imagine most fans that are buying these tickets are keeping them and going to the game. The problem is people that are not fans don't care and see an opportunity to make some quick money.
You think they're trying to buy en masse, buy a bunch of tickets and then flip them for profit? Yeah, they're not fans of either team. They're just looking for money.
Exactly. And it's the NBA Finals. It's freaking New York. They're paying so much in New York to get in. I don't know what the prices are in San Antonio, but say that these people that are buying these Spurs tickets are able to make 5x profit on each seat. Like, why wouldn't you do that if you're one of those people? Right. And so you can't, if you're a Spurs fan, there's nothing you could do about that. If you're the Spurs organization, there's nothing you could do about that. It just is what it is. And I'm sure that happens in every city, by the way. So
if you're a Spurs fan, go to the game, be loud, and that's the best thing you can do, right? If you're a Spurs fan. Yeah, and Knicks fans, I get it. Knicks fans are saying Knicks fans are spending more than their rent, but like to get into these games.
Yeah, that's like 2-3 months.
But they're saying we haven't seen this in 27 years. We haven't been to the finals. We haven't won a title in 50 some odd years. Whatever, 53.
That's why. That's also why they're trying to do this here right now, because man, if they're there and they're able to infuse that team with any energy and take away that home court advantage, man, that matters.
As much as I despise the Knicks fans that have gone around breaking stuff and destroying things and acting like idiots, I admire the Knicks fans that are saying, like, this is our opportunity to go and influence a game and be part of something and see our team do something that we've been dreaming of for decades, right? Like that's pretty amazing. Especially that they're traveling so well and that they're representing their team on the road as well. So I do admire that aspect of Knicks fandom right now with what we're seeing here. But man, it's a challenge, I think, for the Spurs, and they're going to have to do what they can to control the audience. But I'll tell you this: if the Spurs go out there as a team, they play well, they're not going to worry about anything, right? It's like people get on the LA crowd for not being energized enough. The LA crowd is energized when the team gives them something to be energized about. That's the difference. And you could say, well, that's front runner, blah, blah, blah. But if the Spurs are out there taking care of business on the floor, the crowd's not going to be a concern. The Spurs fans will have plenty to be loud about, and Knicks fans won't, and it won't be an issue at all.
Yep, I agree with you. While I do think the LA crowd kind of sucks a lot of the time, but I do understand what you're saying and can agree with you as well.
It's what's remarkable is we talk about ticket prices with LA fans and how that kind of keeps out the true fans. You know what I mean? And you wind up with people who are just there to be seen. In New York, it's like you've got people who are the true fans that are spending whatever it takes in order to get into that game because they haven't seen this kind of situation. Again, there is something kind of heartwarming about not them having to spend that much money, but the dedication. Obviously, spending that much money is a totally different conversation.
Yeah, and there's also like even then they're spending all that money, and there's obviously those are two of the biggest, if not the two biggest markets. But I also think there's also even more star turnout for the Knicks than there is for the Lakers as well.
Would you hear Ben Stiller say they just give them the tickets?
Yeah, like that. That's crazy.
I'm wondering, was he joking though?
There, dude, like that's crazy. I wouldn't be surprised, but I mean, the money they make on the courtside seat.
Right. All right, everybody, let's jump over to this Giannis situation. I know we've talked a lot about it, and everybody's kind of around the NBA waiting for the Giannis situation to resolve. But this is Matt Moore on Locked On NBA talking about what's happening and what the Miami Heat are actually waiting for here on the Giannis front. There's one specific thing they need Giannis to do in order to complete the deal. Check this out.
Hold until we see what happens with Giannis. How do you feel about that, man?
Yeah, so I think it's I don't think it's necessarily about like what Giannis decides, because I think one of the things that's kind of been communicated to me is that the Heat are really wishing Giannis would go put his thumb on the scales, and from every indication is just like Giannis is not going to do that. Like he's going to continue to take the same line of approach, which is I want to win championships. It doesn't seem like the Bucks have it. It's probably in the best interest if we go our separate ways. I'm always going to love Milwaukee. If you can do something that shows me that like gets me back in and you're a contender, yeah, I will stay, but there doesn't seem like there's any sort of path. And if you can't do that, I need to go. But that's different from I will only resign in Miami, trade me there, nowhere else. I will not resign with any of these other teams. That's what the Heat need, I think, in order to get this deal done. Because I talked about this on Locked On NBA Daily, that they were going to use the Miami deal to set a bar and then go elsewhere. And what's interesting is that we're hearing more 3 and 4 team constructs starting to be discussed. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about the idea of a Milwaukee, Boston, Portland construct. I've heard some stuff about the idea of Minnesota, Atlanta, Milwaukee. It sounds like, and this is a big problem, I think, for the Heat in these conversations, is no one is like, Tyler Hero, wow! Versus a lot of teams are like, okay, Rudy Gobert cost a lot and is old, but God, he's still like one of the best rim protectors in the league. Oh, we get Jaylen Brown in the deal. Okay, like you can get a lot more interest with these 3-team deals. So I think that Milwaukee is playing this right and continues to kind of put themselves in a position to be able to get the best deal possible for them.
Okay, so the Miami Heat need Giannis to say, I will only re-sign with Miami. And that's not what he's going to do. He wants to come out of this saying, yeah, I got traded. I don't know. They traded me. I never asked for a trade. That seems to be Giannis's goal here, is to be able to come out of here and say, I never asked to leave Milwaukee. That wasn't the situation. They traded me. Wasn't my decision, right? That he wants deniability in all of this. That seems to be the consistent theme that we've seen from Giannis over the last couple of years, generally. So if the Miami Heat really need Giannis to come out and say, I need to only play for the Miami Heat and I will not sign anywhere else, will not sign a new deal anywhere else. Yes, that would get him to the Miami Heat, but he's not going to do that. I'm seeing the odds around the NBA go down that he actually winds up in Miami. If that's really what it takes to get into Miami, I don't know that the Heat ever get that.
God, it's so fake. It's so fake to be like, oh man, I wanted to be traded because they couldn't put this around me, but I don't want to be the bad guy. Like, right. Oh my God, dude. Like, just who cares? At what point? Because the fans are not stupid. They know what's going on, right? And I also will say that all along he said, my heart is here. I'd love to be here. And I understand that he's been saying that. However, they're not able to put things around him to be able to win anymore. And it's because they've invested and invested and invested and invested, and they've not been able to sustain that, right? It is what it is. The franchise needs a break to recoup assets, right? And so he's faced with a decision between staying or not. Now, if he has to come out and say, I want to go to Miami, but he doesn't plan on doing that, then I think everybody's hands are tied in this situation. Especially if it seems like the Bucks are using that offer as their floor to go and shop around and say, hey, Giannis is probably going to go here with this offer, but if you want him, we can give something differently. I know that there was a report a couple of days ago that they were sneakily hoping that the Knicks lost or whatever, so the Knicks could get back in the running and all this and that. But this whole saga, man, it's just it's exhausting, one, and two, it's just a lot of back and forth. Will he, won't he? All the way back to last summer. Does he want to trade? Mixed reporting. He doesn't want to trade. He's saying everything out of both sides of his mouth as well. Every time they put a mic in front of him. So I don't think he'll ever come out and say that, but it's like I said, I had to get off my chest. I just think that's super fake because the people are not stupid. Everybody knows.
Giannis wants to break up with the girl, but he's trying to do a bunch of shady shit to get her to break up with him so he doesn't have to be the bad guy.
Matt, is that you?
Shout out to the optimist. Look, Giannis is a great player. Great player. Top Absolutely. 5 player in the NBA, no question. Obviously, there's a reason why there's so much conversation about this because so many teams are going to want him. I do think he's using Miami or the Bucks are using Miami as their floor, as they should. Yeah, Miami's offer is not going to change. I don't buy this whole talk about like, oh, they're squeezing Miami trying to get. Yeah, if Kasparis Yakashonis is holding up the deal, Miami would just go, here, take him, done deal. Call it in, right? I totally buy that Milwaukee is using Miami's offer as their floor and then waiting for somebody to come beat it. And that's what they're doing. And Miami's offer is not going to change today or a week from today. It's going to be the same thing. Milwaukee calls them a week from today and says, hey, that deal's still on the table? Yep. Okay, cool. Call it in. Let's go. They can do that. So why not? If you're the Bucks, why not say, okay, let's take our time here and let's see, maybe Boston will put Jaylen Brown on the table. We can get better assets out of Jaylen Brown. Even if they don't get him, he'll go to a third team. I talked about that a little bit last night. Or if it's Minnesota, I thought it was a little crazy to throw out Rudy Gobert's name as like, yeah, he's old, but he's a really good rim protector. Lots of teams totally want Rudy Gobert. Really? I don't like, he is a good rim protector. He is still a good defensive player, but I don't think he's not generating. Jaylen Brown is one thing. Rudy Gobert is not getting a bunch of teams saying, oh yeah, we'll take Rudy Gobert and send you really good stuff that you can use to give to Milwaukee for him. No, I don't see that. I think if Minnesota is serious and wants to be in it, Jaden McDaniels has to be in. That said, that offer that we heard from yesterday, which was like Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, 2 first-round picks, plus, what was it, Terrence Shannon Jr. I thought that was, I'm like, man, Minnesota is reportedly not willing to do that. I thought that was great. I think that's better than the Miami offer, but maybe I'm overly high on Jaden McDaniels. I don't see Rudy Gobert being the pathway to get Giannis Antetokounmpo is the point. I could see Jaylen Brown being the pathway, and I think maybe that is now getting to a point where it's the most likely pathway. I think, Donnie, Heat fans are going to lose their minds if and when Giannis goes somewhere else.
Yeah, I think if that's what winds up happening, I would be pretty annoyed for the Heat as well. Like, I don't mind what they're doing in terms of from Milwaukee side of things, using that as leverage, seeing what they can get. But it's kind of annoying if you're a Heat fan because you've put out there repeatedly, hey, the interest and multiple stars, and you can't land any of these guys for one reason or another. I do expect this to end soon, though. I mean, we're at a point where it's got to end soon. Like,
the draft is coming up on the 23rd. We're 10 days away. Like, this is gonna come to a conclusion sooner rather than later. I keep expecting like at any moment we're gonna get breaking Giannis traded to whatever team. But this is a situation where Miami's been waiting for this for years. They've been holding off on giving up certain assets so they could put them into a Giannis trade eventually. This is their moment to now be used as the leverage against other teams, which is apparently what the Bucks are doing, which is what the Bucks should be doing. But I get why that's got to be frustrating if you're Miami. And if you're Miami, you're just hoping Giannis will eventually say, I'm only going to re-sign it. Because if Giannis says that, all the other offers just immediately, they get Thanos snapped out of existence. They're done, right? If Giannis says, I will only re-sign in Miami, but that's not what he's doing. And that gives the Bucks an opportunity to play these teams off of each other for leverage.
Yeah, but also if Giannis said, like he was saying, that he wants to stay in Milwaukee, and he came out and said that, we would have never had all the entirely long trade rumors and all that stuff all year long. We said a billion times all year that all Giannis had to do was come out and say, hey, I want to be in Milwaukee. But clearly he doesn't really actually want to be in Milwaukee, at least as currently constructed, of course, which I understand. Right. But you can't say, oh, man, I'm hoping they trade me, basically behind closed doors. Oh, they may get tired of me and trade me. Like, bro, come on.
My wife might get tired of me tomorrow. I don't know. They might trade me. Who knows? He continues to try to put on like the team. Everybody knows what the situation. Everybody knows who's really in control. If Giannis came out and said, I will only re-sign in Boston, that's it. He's going to the Celtics. Yeah. Right? Miami's offer would immediately disappear. Because nobody's giving up the kind of stuff we're talking about here for 1 year of Giannis, and then he hits free agency and he walks away. Nobody's doing that. So Giannis is in complete control of where he goes. All he has to do is swear that he will not re-sign with Miami. He says, I don't want Miami anymore. Okay, I will not re-sign there. No matter what, next summer, you're trading for 1 year of me. That's it.
Well, the thing is,
offer's gone.
I think he can get traded even without saying that. So things will probably work out his way ultimately.
You're right. He doesn't have to, because then he becomes the bad guy. But for Heat fans, that's the frustrating part of all of it, is he won't just say what it is that he wants. But for the Bucks, for Bucks fans, thank you, Giannis. You're doing exactly what
Yeah,
the Bucks need you to do in order to get the best return
absolutely.
possible.
I was going to say that while I said I would be annoyed for the Heat side of things, Giannis doesn't owe them anything, neither do the Bucks. Frankly, that's in the best interest of the Bucks if he doesn't come out and do that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I get it from that perspective.
AD did it with the Lakers though, and the Pels still got a haul.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. All right, we'll see where this Giannis situation goes, but I mean, not great if it's being communicated to Matt Moore that the Heat essentially need Giannis to come out and say, "I will only re-sign in Miami." Maybe Miami's offer still wins out, but man, for what looked like Miami's in good shape, they're going to land him. That's looking like a much more perilous situation here as the days go on. Again, I just don't buy the whole idea that this is just Milwaukee trying to squeeze or Boston trying to force Miami to pay more. What is more than what they're already up? Like, be different if they had this blue chip prospect that they're trying to fight to hang on to, but they don't. That's not what we're talking about. So we'll see where this all goes, but hopefully we get resolution here sooner rather than later, because I think this will be the first domino to fall. The dam's going to burst after this, and then we're going to get a bunch of activity in the NBA this summer.
Yeah, and the annoying thing about the process here is that as this goes on, more teams keep getting thrown into the ring. Like, oh, now we're hearing
Minnesota,
That's
Portland,
like, okay.
Orlando, right?
So if you're Miami, you're like, God damn it, can we just get this done already? Because all of a sudden you're gonna hear some crazy offer come out of left field, 5-team trade that lands him in freaking, I don't know, Orlando or something like that.
The RKO out of nowhere. Yep. All right, everybody. Give us your thoughts in the comments down below. What happens with Giannis? What do you think about James Harden getting arrested? Yikes. And the Knicks, the Spurs, Game 5. What's going to happen tonight? Are Spurs fans going to be able to keep Knicks fans out of the building? I don't think it's happening. Give us your thoughts in the comment section. Will the extender be successful tonight? Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.